Hello friends. This is Lauren from Mama's Learning Corner, and this is my first video back after a 5-year hiatus. 5 years, that's a long time. I know that you and I have both lived a lot of life in the last 5 years, but I wanted to give a little chit-chatty Q&A type video for my first video back after being away from YouTube for so long. So like I said, the last video I published, my littlest boy, I think was 5 months old. So that would have been like August of 2017. Well, it's now almost August of 2022. So it's been a while. And goodness, our homeschool looks so completely differently than it did when I left off back 5 years ago. So currently, let me catch you up to speed. Currently, we have 5 children. I have a boy that's going to be in 12th grade. Be still my heart. I have a girl that's going to be 10th grade, a girl that's going to be 8th grade, a girl that's going to be 6th grade, and then I have my 5-year-old boy who is going to be starting kindergarten this year. So I have boys at both ends, one 12th at one extreme, and then one in kindergarten at the other extreme. So I have no doubt that this is going to be like our most intense homeschool year we've ever had in terms of the actual schooling and academics, but it's also very bittersweet in a lot of ways. So this is my 13th year homeschooling that we're getting ready to start. Our family is going to start in about 2.5 weeks. So I am like a mad woman trying to get all of the pieces in place. We had COVID a few weeks ago, and my fatigue levels from that just carried on and on and on. So I lost a lot of time this summer that I would have typically used to study and prepare for the new school year. So I kid you not, I looked at the calendar last week when I finally felt better, and I thought we had 5 weeks before the start of school. We only have 3, actually less than 3. So I'm a little panicky because I have a lot to do. And so I'll make at least 1, maybe 2 videos about how I prepare during the summertime. Although I haven't done a very good job of it this year because we had COVID, and I did a sorry job of it last year because we had COVID, and I lost like 3 weeks last year just due to illness. But thankfully we're better, we're good, and there's some lingering sickness, but we're mostly good now. So where have I been? Like, that's a very good question. Where have I been? So after I published that last video in August of 2017, I did not expect to take a YouTube break. We just had some life circumstances that happened that, well, they were life-changing, and I honestly just didn't have a lot to say, publicly, privately. Like, I just didn't have a lot to say. During that time, unrelated to our life changes, my oldest boy would have been in 7th grade. He went to a private school for 7th grade, a different private school for 8th and 9th grade, and then he's been at home 10th through 12th grade. And the girls and everybody else have been homeschooled the whole time. But that's a video for another day, why he went to school. But it was a perfect thing for that season of life. It was a perfect thing for him for that season of life. And I feel like it made our relationship stronger, like as mother and son. So I don't regret that, mostly. I do a little bit because, you know, the pride part of me, that feels almost like a failure, sort of. But it was the right thing at the right time. So that happened while I was off of YouTube. So we had this big life event, my unrelated reasoning, but my son went to school for 7th, 8th, 9th grade. And then we've just like lived a lot of life like all of you have. We moved in that time into a new house. When we had my littlest boy, we didn't have any room for him anywhere. And so he was sleeping in our walk-in closet. So we had to move homes. It was fine. It had a window and a vent, and it was perfect for the time, but you know, they get bigger. So we had to move, and we're in a different house now that suits us so perfectly. We feel so very blessed that the Lord lets us live here. We're still in the same town. We just moved across town. So if you know anything at all about moving, it's like the undertaking of the year, right? So that took up a big chunk of our time, one of those years that I was gone. And then, like I said, other times I just didn't have a lot to say. I didn't feel like I had a lot to say to the outside world, and I didn't have the bandwidth for it mentally. So I just kind of stayed off YouTube for a little while. So a little bit more to catch up to speed. We still teach classically in our homeschool, so classical education. We started out when my oldest was K through 4 or 5, very much a unit study approach. I mean, we had set grammar, math, Latin, but in terms of like history and science, we definitely took a more unit study approach, and that is by far my favorite way of learning. However, with a whole pile of kids, like that just presented logistical challenges to me. So when my oldest son was about in 4th and 5th grade, I can't remember exactly when, we switched to a very much a classical model. We switched away from eclectic unit study, delight directed. We moved away from that and went to straight classical. And I'll talk about that in another video, but I have been so pleased. We see so much fruit from like this classical education, which is nothing that I had experience with. I was raised in public school in Eastern North Carolina, very poor school system. I had never heard of the Iliad or the Odyssey. So like, I mean, I just had no classical background at all. Certainly didn't know any Latin. But I see the fruit of that now in my older children, and it's just, I'm so pleased that we chose this method. So we still school classically, but that is a lot of moving parts. I'm not going to lie to you. So a lot of my day is just go, 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 go. What's the next thing? What are we doing next? What Latin are you working on? What math are you working on? But I think that would be the case whether we school classically or not. I think with just a lot of children, you have a lot of moving parts, and we have a lot of moving parts. So some of my children do online classes. I have one child that goes out of the house for a class, like an in-person class. We still don't really do a co-op. I could never find a co-op that really meshed with us well, that I was willing to devote a whole day to and also teach at. That was poor grammar. But yeah, so we've not done a co-op in 10 years now, at least, or maybe 9. I just couldn't figure out a way to make that work in our particular situation. So we still don't do a co-op. We school mostly here at home. So I mentioned that we had moved into a new house. Well, I mean, we moved 4 years ago, but it's been since I was on YouTube previously or recorded any videos. But we are so blessed to have a dedicated schoolroom in this house. In our old house, we used our dining room like a lot of people do. But in this house, it has a small office in the corner of one of the sides. And so we use that as our schoolroom. And I would show it to you right now, but it looks like a bomb went off. So I told you, I was kind of overwhelmed with what I had going on. Well, actually, I'll turn it around. No, because I'll knock things off because I'm not, agile with the phone. But I was going to say, I'll show you my table. It looks like a bomb went off because I'm, a busy bee trying to get things ready for school to start in less than 3 weeks. But I'll show you all around our schoolroom in a different video. It's small, but everybody needs like that one place where they can put all the things, all the books, the things on the wall, just a place to store all this stuff. And we are very blessed to have this room. But I'll show you that in a different video because I always like looking to see how other people, how other people do their homeschool. This isn't homeschool related, but one of the best things I have figured out in my 5 years hiatus off of YouTube is how to manage our home in an efficient way. So, there's 7 of us that live here, myself and my husband and our 5 children. That's a lot of meals. It's a lot of dirty clothes. It's a lot of trying to keep things straight and clean. But I feel like I've finally gotten a good handle on that. And part of that is just children being older and being able to help. And all those years of training and showing kids how to do things is starting to pay off some, although some children need so much more encouragement than others to clean well, to do things well. So we eat at home every single night. I cook. I have breakfast, like a cooked breakfast, probably 3 or 4 times a week. Maybe not quite that often. We have good lunches. It's important for me to feed our children well. The places we spend the most of our money is on curriculum and is on food. We don't have a lot of clothes. Our house isn't decorated very well, but that's where we choose to spend our money. And as a result, I've been able to refine how we eat, which, as you know, if you're a homeschool mother, you're at home with people all day who need feeding, and they're cranky when they're not fed. So that has always been one of my mainstays of the day. The anchors of the day have been meals and snacks, and they still are, even though my children are a lot older, because the crankiness only like multiplies once they get bigger, if they haven't eaten. So I feel like those are some, so refining how I run my home has been very helpful in the last 5 years. And if that's something you're interested in, I'll be happy to post a couple of videos on that too. Like I said, I don't have all the answers at all. I mean, I still just have so much to learn about all the things. But the things that I do have a good handle on, I'll be happy to share with you if that's something that y'all are interested in. So just let me know in a comment below, like if those are the types of things that you want to see. It has been some hard-earned wisdom, but I mean, hard-earned wisdom are the things that stick with us, right? So I'm happy to have gotten it. So I made a little welcome video up at the top. So I'll just mention that lastly. If you didn't watch that, this is just kind of a repeat of some of those things. But my vision for YouTube going forward is very similar to what it was in the past, which is encouragement for other homeschool moms that are just having a hard time finding their way. That was very much me in those early years. I did not have a mentor. I was floundering at every turn. I didn't know what my children should be learning. I felt like I wasn't doing a very good job. And most of that was because I just needed like some hand holding, and I didn't really know another person to ask in real life. So, so lots of my videos are focused on like that type of content. For those people that just need some like direction, because that was me for just so long. And a lot of like, and what's so funny is that was the case in the elementary years, and then I needed a lot of direction in the middle school years, and I still need like so much direction in the high school years, because that's like a whole different beast. I mean, it's very doable, but it takes a lot of research and understanding, and a lot of prayer. So so that's my vision still going forward, is encouragement, how we do things, and then do you see if that can work for you? It may or it may not. Every family is different, and everybody's children have different needs. Even within our own family, gosh, there's so many different needs, learning needs, emotional needs, encouragement needs. I have a child that needs lots of encouragement. So even within our own family, there's lots of different needs. So you'll get a good dose of that here. Also, I like curriculum. I like to talk about curriculum. We've used a lot over the last 12 years. I'll be happy to do some videos on how we use things in our family. It's not always like the perfect way, but it's what works for us. And then if y'all are interested in homemaking, how we run our household, how I run our household kind of videos, then I'll be happy to put some of those out too. But my vision is a video 2 to 4 times a month. I can't really commit to anything more than that, only because like I have kindergarten to 12th grade, and that's feeling a little overwhelming at the moment. So I'm just not sure that I can adhere to hard and fast deadlines. So my goal is 2 to 4 times a month. And if it's more than that, great. If not, I'll have to see. I don't know. I'll regroup and let you know. So I appreciate your patience with me as I've taken my 5-year sabbatical from YouTube. But I'm very excited to get back in it. And I'm very excited to get to know all of you all over again. Talk to you in the comments. Send me emails. I really enjoyed that. And I can't tell you the emails I get currently. People saying, I realize you haven't posted a video in 5 or 6 years, but do you have any more? I'm like, well, okay. So it's kind of like that little nudge to get moving with it again. And now is the time that I can like have something to say again, or have the mental bandwidth to put towards this. So, but I'm looking forward to getting to know you again. I hope that you will subscribe. I hope that you will share this channel with friends if they need that extra hand holding, or just that extra dose of encouragement that they're not alone. Even though the homeschool world has really exploded in the last year, it still can be a very lonely place if you don't know people in real life to give you that encouragement. So shoot them a video of one of my videos if you know people in that same boat, or send me an email. My email is mama, M-A-M-A, at mamaslearningcorner.com. I don't have anybody that works for me. Like, I'm not a blogger that has people that work for them. So I read each and every email. I read each and every comment. It's only me. I'm a one-man show. I always have been. It'll be me that responds, and give me a day or two, because sometimes I just get busy with life. And I'm not the best responder in the world, admittedly so. I appreciate all of you that have read at Mama's Learning Corner for the past 10 years. It started in 2011, past 11 years. It was 11 years in June, actually. Was it? It was 11 years in June. But I know that many of you have subscribed to my email list that whole entire long time, and I'm very grateful for each one of you. And I'm looking forward to getting to know you in a different way on YouTube. All right, I'll see you soon.